So there you see it, possession in favor of the United States. We don't have a foul statistic on there, but Spain was certainly leaning on their physicality, especially against Alex Morgan. Kate, you and I watched this one here in Bristol, Connecticut. Julie Foudy watched it live. So Julie, we'll start with you. Were you underwhelmed by the U.S. today, or was it good enough?
I was underwhelmed. And on cue, the siren passing. But I think it's the first test they've had. We knew that was going to be an issue with how easily they got through that group stage. And honestly, you knew this was going to be a good Spain team. I don't think people are giving Spain enough credit, though. That's a good Spanish team that played smart, played tactically smart, knew that if they played them physical, it would disrupt them. And the U.S. never sorted that. They never adjusted, I thought, tactically. And I thought that front three struggled a little bit, in particular Alex Morgan.
Hey, Julie, on the second goal for the United States, do you think it's a penalty?
I do not. I thought it was soft. But here's the problem, right? When the referee makes the call and they go to VAR, when they see the contact in VAR and it studs up, had she not made it, right, it would have been a different story because I don't think she would have then ruled it a penalty. But because she had already made it, she couldn't then take it away because there was a little bit of contact. But I think it's a soft penalty. If it was the other side, that's what happened in the United States box, and the United States was going home on that penalty, oof, I mean, there would be an outrage, of course. And I thought the Spanish press, the Spanish coach, handled it really well in the post-game press conference. He just talked about how proud he was of his team and how well they played, and didn't really point to that at all.
Kate, no goals from the run of play today for the United States against Spain. You not worried moving forward?
Well, I think this performance begs a lot of questions that the U.S. has to answer. Is how are they going to create against a very organized backline and also against a team that likes to sit low? The U.S. couldn't solve that. They were numbers down in midfield. They didn't use the flanks well enough. And to Julie's point, the front three, and I think someone called them ATM on the broadcast, they weren't good enough today. I don't think we used the width that well. I don't think Megan Rapinoe had a good game. She's coming in as an inverted winger, but she's not creating much. So this is a team that a lot of questions have now come up. And the only reason why they're coming up now and not earlier is because they didn't have a strong group stage games, right?
Yep. U.S. advancing then to the quarterfinals in Paris against the host, France. Kate, France is a better team than Spain, right?
Yes.
If the U.S. plays like they did today,
they will not
beat
win.
France?
No. If the U.S. plays like how they did today, they will not beat France. They're going to have to address the issues that came
What
alive
are the
today.
biggest issues they have to address?
That left-hand side is concerning defensively. I don't think Crystal Dunn played that well. I don't think Megan Rapinoe played that well offensively, and that's why you have her on the field, is because she is so talented going forward. She isn't a defensive liability, but she's pretty close to that. So what are you going to do against the very dominant wing play of France?
Julie, a lot of discussion about Alyssa Nair after this match. Are you nervous about her as we head into that France matchup?
Well, she didn't ease some of the concerns, that's for sure, that people had, and many of us have talked about coming into this. But I will say this, and Kate will know this moment well. The '99 World Cup, it reminded me very much of that. Quarterfinal against Germany. Brandy thinks she's passing it back to Brianna Scurry in our own goal, and Brianna Scurry is not there, and Brandy scores an own goal. She passes it into the back of our very own net. And Carla Overbeck turned to her and said, "You're going to be fine, and you're going to help us win this game." And it happened early. And you saw that interaction between Becky and Nair, where Becky was essentially like, "It's going to be all right. We got a lot of time to make this up." And what it showed me is that in those moments, which we know can just tank a team and ruin a tournament, they responded. Right? She dealt with it. She said, "I got to get my head up. I got to know that I don't want this to happen twice," although it almost did happen again. I think she was shaky for sure, but I actually think that in the end may actually end up being a blessing.
Nair, for you, Kate?
It'll only be a blessing if Nair comes out strong on the next type of challenge or the next decision making. That to me is a player that wasn't ready for the game. She was nervous. And when you're nervous, you don't see the whole field. You only cue in on one thing. She didn't even see that Spanish player coming in, Jenny Hermoso. She had no idea. So I think it's going to be critical for her the next time is just to kind of have that big moment And then I think the whole entire team will play better. I think the team was rallied as well. And yeah, they rallied around her because they have the talent to do so. But against a tougher opponent that has a little bit more going forward, because let's be honest, Spain didn't have a ton going forward. They were focused on sitting back and preventing U.S. attacks. That's something that is, the questions are still there. They haven't been answered yet.
For more, sign up now for ESPN Plus.